Today we are going to discuss about the cost plan and prior to prepare a cost plan, it is essential to have a cost analysis for a project. So cost analysis might be prepared based on previous project, uh, might be already completed one, or at least it should be awarded. So contract document or else contract sum should be essential to have for cost analysis. So based on a cost analysis of a previous project, we will be moving for the cost plan of next project or the new project. So cost plan is something uh, forecasting, and cost analysis is kind of analysis that we have prepared based on actual data. So based on those actual data, we will be forecasting for our future projects. So that is the purpose of having a cost plan. And cost plan is not a estimating technique. Here we are not going to do an estimate because for estimating things we have other techniques called preliminary estimating techniques. So based on the available data we can move for those estimating thing. In cost plan, what we are going to do is we are going to plan our cost based on elemental, or as elemental wise we are going to plan the cost. So once you have prepared the cost plan, you know what are the milestones in cost for each and every element. So that is the purpose of having a cost plan. So then once you have a cost plan, it is easy to do your whatever the cost controlling part while going on your project. So that is the essentiality of having a cost plan. And this is not the budget, it is something called plan. So budget will be something more realistic than cost planning, because when you are entering for a budget, that should be kind of realistic data. But cost plan, it is somewhat forecasting based on a previous experience or previous project. So here for your assignment, so I just supposed to give you this detail as a cost analysis, because you are going to prepare your cost plan. To prepare cost plan, it is essential to have a cost analysis. So this will be the cost analysis uh, for your reference. And I hope that most of the parts has been covered through this. I will share this document with you. And as per your assignment, you are required to prepare a cost plan as per NRM1 in page as I remember, page this one, no? As per your assignment, you are required to prepare a cost plan as per page 366. So 366 page means it is this one. So you are required to prepare a level 2 cost plan. So if you can remember in our lecture time period that we have discussed that there are three types of cost plan, or level 3 cost plan, level 1, 2 and 3. So level 1 will be basically having a major element. So we will not going to going for in detail in level 1, because we are only having basic detail of the design as well. But when we are going to level 2, we will be a bit more expanded. And another level is there for the cost plan, that is level 3, where you have much more detail. But for a project, it is supposed that it is okay to have level 2 cost plan. So this is the cost plan that you are required to fill. And you have to do that based on your detail. So for that, you are required to have cost per square meter of GIFA. So GIFA means gross internal flow area. I think you have learned those things in measurement. So gross internal flow area is flow area up to the internal side of a external wall. So if you have any questions, you can ask. So that is gross internal flow area. So you are required to measure that thing. If the flow area has not been given in your assignment, you can do the calculation flow wise, what it will be for ground floor, what it will be for first floor, second floor, likewise. So in your report, you are required to show that thing as a calculation. How did you come up with your gross internal flow area? So in gross internal flow area, make sure that don't deduct the area for internal walls or voids or something like that. Just take the area up to the internal side of external wall, as same as your measurement lecture. So then you can come up with the GIFA, and that is the only requirement for this cost plan. So GIFA should be accurate. That is the only quantity calculation that is required for you. And then all these cost per square meter of GIFA you can take from the document that I am supposed to share with you. And one more thing is, some of the details might not be there. In that case, you have to prepare a clear assumption. So in that case, though you are going to use the same document that I am going to share with you, you need to mention what are the clear assumptions that you have to take because of using that document. So as example, so some details might be missing in my document even. So not about the cost, but that it has not been specified what is the type of substruction. Only the GIFA and construction date and all these things are available, but here you are not having any drawing. So you don't know what is the type of substructure, and you don't know what is the material that have been used for walls. But it says that it is typical and it's somewhat similar to your on expected project, but you are not sure about those kind of things. So uh, sensible assumption means that you need to make assumption regarding those situations. You can make assumption that it is as same as the previous project, or you can make assumption that previous project is kind of deviating, so I will go for this kind of cost figure because of this situation or something like that. Okay. And another important thing is this is a new construction. The cost analysis has been given for the new construction, but I don't think that it will be affect. Yes, we are. It is supposed to have a, since you are going to do some kind of alteration and renovation for your new project, so it is better if we can have some same type of thing. But since we do not have such kind of things,
Excuse me, miss, the substructure has already been done, so do we
yeah,
have
that's
to?
the thing. So some part of the thing has been already. So as example, you are not required to do construction of halls, ne? And slabs and all these things will not be come into your case because it has been they have been already completed. So you can skip those things. And so this is a rate per GIFA, so per square meter rate. So if you have new items, same item, then you can get the rate from this. So don't consider this project as a whole. So you cannot take the whole construction cost and you cannot convert that thing. So only please use the elemental cost. So that is the purpose of giving this document. You can use this elemental cost. So as example, since you are going to do some wall finishes for not for the whole project, but for some area. So then, but this wall finish means including painting, plastering and painting. But you might not do uh, plastering, only you will be doing painting. Then you cannot take this whole amount as a norm for your new project. So you have to make assumption 50% has been allocated for plastering, so I will only use 1200 only for the painting, something like that. It can be rational because you are not experienced guys, no? But anyhow, you need to identify what are the things that you are going to justify. That is the important thing, because you are a quantity surveyor. You should know what is the way of using available cost data. So this is a kind of cost data, so you should know how to use that thing. Okay, so some part will not be required and some part need to do some adjustments, and for some norms you can use as same, making assumption that same thing was happened at the previous project and same thing will be happen for your new project. Okay, so that is the important thing. And another important part is there, at the end of the day you have to put some specific detail which will be specified for your project. As example, so in your assignment also it was asked to provide preliminary cost and contractors overhead and profit. So that thing. In that case, so I have removed that part from this cost analysis. I did not give you any detail regarding preliminaries or overhead and profit. For those two things, you can make a rational assumption. So for yours easiness, so we just assume that it is normally 8% or 10%, in between 8% to 10% for preliminaries. So you can make an assumption after calculating all other cost, after getting the contract sum, or else after getting the total sum for your uh, future project or the proposed project, you can make assumption preliminary cost will be 8% of out of this whole project cost. So then that is assumption. So normally we will say that our preliminary cost is 8% to 10%. That is a industry practice thumb rule. So you can use the same thing by putting your assumption. It is okay if you put that as 11% or 12% or whatever the thing, but don't put as 20 or 25%. That is something go beyond the thing. So whatever the thing, you have to clearly mention. That is my requirement. You should understand what are the things that you need to identify, or what are the things that you need to clearly clarify the thing prior to use the available cost data. Okay, so that is regarding preliminary. And when it comes to overhead, we know that normally we are using overhead and profit as 25%. So out of that 25%, 15% will be overhead and 10% will be profit. So sometimes profit will be 8% or something, and then overhead might be 20% or something. So it depends. It's your assumption. Once you get the total cost, you can have that thing in. You can make rational assumption for that thing. And design team fees, I don't know what is the requirement of your project. It is okay if it is okay to have design team fee as per your methodology, then you can have that. I think you are required to put a design team fee because you are a part of slip, as I know. So you are required to present about the situation of this project in front of the management of slip. So you are going to do a kind of brief presentation in front of the management to get an idea about this project. So in that case, you might be required to have a design team fee. So it will not be a kind of square foot meet square rate for such kind of things. So for these kind of thing, we are just allocating kind of percentage. So as I remember in top up batch, I have explained those details can be observed from the kind of professional institute websites. In IQSSL, it is available for the what is the fee of quantity surveyors in pre-contract and post-contract based on the nature of the project. So you can get the detail from IQSSL website and clearly mention in your report. And I don't know about what is the situation of architectures and engineers. So for that also, based on the based on the situation, you can make kind of assumption. And the most important part is you need to mention that thing in your report. Otherwise, this table is not the only thing that you have to insert in your report. Whatever the relevant calculation, relevant assumption should be attached to that. Okay, and no need to when we are doing cost analysis, if you can remember, when we are doing cost analysis based on NRM4 or based on BCIS, we have to calculate some kind of units, ne? How to measure substructure, what is the unit method of measurement, what is the method for measuring substructure, what is the method for measuring walls or something like that. That thing is not applicable for cost plan. For cost plan, you are only required to have GIFA. Once you have calculated GIFA, that is it for your cost plan. And other thing is indices. So for this project, cost analysis has been prepared for a project at Naraham Bita. It means this project will be there in Colombo. So location factor has been given as 1.00. Hmm. And our new project will be there at Mihintale, ne? So then we have to do some adjustment. I will give you a location factor for Mihintale in MS Team channel. Okay, so that is up to me. And another thing is that tender price indices. So this was as this project was tendered on November 2017, and as per your assignment, it was supposed to tender on February 2020 or something. So then you are required to do that adjustment as well for the inflation. Otherwise, it will not be fruitful. So then you are required to do the adjustment for the tender date. For that, you can use bulletin or a SIDA bulletin, which is monthly published by SIDA or Construction Industry Development Authority. So this is January 1. I could not find out February 1 because it is not available in online basis. We are required to purchase that thing. So normally quantity surveyors are having this thing when you are going to prepare price escalation. So I just tried to find up a February version, but only I could be able to find up this January thing. So what you can do is two pages are available for this. Yeah, this is one thing. Uh, One option is you can have the detail in quarterly wise like this. If you are going to have details in quarterly wise, they have categorized each and every project based on the nature of it or based on the scope of work. So they have categorized as modern housing, semi-permanent housing, all housing. So we are not in that section, but we are in this non-residential building section because our thing is for the construction work for a university premises. So we are not going to do any housing construction. So it will be a non-residential building. So you have to refer this column, non-residential building column. And it is not irrigation, road work, water supply or any other civil work. So it is totally non-residential building, and cost analysis has been given for November 2017. So then you need to find out what is the rate for November means it is fourth quarter of the year. So 2017 fourth quarter means this figure. Since it is non-residential, it will be 701.3. So that is the figure for existing project, or as for the cost analyzed project. And here we are going for the so it is only available up to the 2019 fourth quarter. It means 2019 December quarter. So if you can make a rational assumption that this will be same for the first quarter of 2020, and take the same weightage as 760. And so then base index is 701.3 and the new index is 760. You can get the difference and divide by this 760 and get the answer for what is the input percentage to change your cost plan in accordance with the tender date. So that is the thing. And or else you have another uh, type of figures in this way. I will share this document as well. So in 2017, so here they are going to do categorize the thing based on these three categories. First one is modern housing, and then non-residential building, and then water supply and drainage. So we will again selecting non-residential building. Again in that case for 2017 it was 17 August, sorry, November. So for November, 702.8 as same as the previous one. And then we will be going to tender this thing in 2020 February, but this is only for January. So you can use 773. I think this table is more practical. So you can get these two indices from this SIDA document, and you can do the adjustment for tender date for these figures. So in that case, for each and every cost, each and every rate, you need to do that adjustment, and that adjusted rate should be referred in your cost plan. So two options are there. Normally in preliminary estimating, what we are doing is we will do this calculation, and at the end of the project we will take the sum, and for that sum we will be going to do that tender price adjustment. But that is not practical for cost plan, because for cost plan the requirement is we need to have separate cost for each and every element. So here our main focus is not to get the project sum, but to get the allocation for cost in each and every element. So in that case, you need to weightage each and every rate based on your tender price adjustment. So fortunately we are having that factor, but for location we are not having such kind of guidance or such kind of published data. SIDA has been only published for the tender price indices, not a location factor. So I will share the location factor for Mihinthale with you, and then you can go up with the project. Do you have any questions? So that is all about that I need to explain for you, and that's it. So having any questions, any queries?